And
Uh,
we're here.
we're
Hello,
here.
yeah, we are here. And hello, people. You know who I am, and this is my son Jonathan right here. Say hello,
Hmm.
Jonathan.
Hello, hello, crowd.
So, so, so anyway, they had to give you a round of applause on that one. But anyway, now we done had a lot of news happening, but we had some really major news. Major news.
Start with the major nugget first.
The major nugget is no NATO for Ukraine.
Run that one back again. No NATO or Ukraine.
No NATO for Ukraine.
Okay.
Okay,
Explain.
if you can remember correctly, the Biden administration, the EU, all
Yeah.
of them was talking about Ukraine becoming a member of NATO. There was
Yes,
no
I do.
reverse in their descent into NATO. Well,
Yeah.
basically, the new Secretary of Defense said uh, Ukraine joining NATO is a bad idea.
Okay.
Basically
So no
saying,
NATO for Ukraine. Okay.
yeah, no NATO for Ukraine.
It
And
is a bad idea because that would cause World War III. If I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong, there that would
yeah,
cause a problem. Um, I looked up. Well, I'm gonna stay on that one. So if NATO, if Ukraine was to join NATO, it would in effect cause Article 5. Is that right?
right.
And what is happening there? I've been reading that a lot of the North Koreans have been dying there.
That's false.
Oh, false.
That is
'Cause-
totally false. Well, the only thing with that is the fact that if North Koreans were fighting in Russia, they're not fighting in Russia illegal.
Mhm.
They're not illegally fighting in Russia because Russia and North Korea have a defense pact
Yeah,
that they signed this summer.
yeah,
But there's no proof of North Koreans in Kursk. When you're talking about dead bodies, you see pictures of dead bodies.
hmm,
We
absolutely.
we have yet to see pictures of dead North Korean soldiers laying on the ground. And
Yep.
Zelensky even went as far as to say that Russia burns their faces off.
Wow. He
Yeah,
did. He said
yeah,
that.
yeah. He said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he burned their faces off. And then it was last week. Uh, he was saying that they were gone. There were no more North Koreans. And then uh, this weekend, they was talking about the North Koreans are so battered that they send them to the hospital, and then they come back out to fight again. There's no proof of that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no proof of that. Had to fix my couch. I don't know what was going on. Ordered this couch on Amazon, and it was just doing weird things. Like I was stretched out on it, and then it like so because I put it together myself, so I guess it came unclaimed. And so I was standing over there fixing it.
uh,
So now we're good. At least I think we're
yeah,
good. All right. So
yeah.
NATO. So basically, the North Koreans are probably helping NATO win the war.
No,
Not NATO. Excuse me. Russia.
no, it's not. It's not that. See, NATO is that in that area, that area of the world where Russia is. Okay,
Right.
NATO was formed back in 1949. Okay, and
Yep.
they were more like if you pay into this, we'll help you defend your land against who's ever fighting you. We'll come in and help defend you. But anyway,
Hmm.
after the breakup of the USSR back in 1991, NATO decided they was going to get all those breakaway countries to join
Hmm.
them. Okay,
Hmm.
because as you know when the Cold War started, don't you?
Yeah. 19, and it started right after World War II. So we're in the 60s, right?
Uh, uh, the Cold War started right after uh, Russia, USSR dropped their version of the atomic bomb,
Mm.
which was way bigger than what we dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Hmm.
Well, you know what? Only thing I got to say about that is the fact that the U.S. was trying to find a way to have a war with a country that would just totally wipe them out or render them helpless for a bunch of
Hmm.
years. That's when they
Hmm.
started fooling around with atomic weapons. That's
Hmm.
when they started messing around with them. And so,
Mm.
anyway, uh, meanwhile, while Japan was over here, Russia was uh, they already they already conquered one country, which was next to China, next to Japan, and they were heading for Japan, and that is
Hmm.
why we dropped those uh, atomic bombs. We
Oh,
had to stop
Japan.
Russia. Yeah, we had to
Mm.
stop Russia. Other words, put the scare of God into Russia, basically saying, "Well, you're not gonna do anything because we can do this to you." So
Hmm.
uh, while they were trying to make that atomic bomb, Russia had a mule in there with them who, right along with everybody else, looking at all their plans and stuff, and they went back to the Soviet Union and they built their own version, which was more powerful than what the U.S. put together, and that's when the Cold War started. See, the thing about it is, the United States came out of the barrel talking
Mm.
world, world, world
Nomination.
control,
Yeah.
talking world control. Okay,
Mm.
and the Saudi Arabia said, "Well, we'll give you all the oil you want as long as you protect us."
Hmm.
Yeah, and so this whole idea of the USSR or now Russia wanting to run the world is it's bogus. Russia does not
Mm.
want to run the world. Russia doesn't even want to control their part of the world. Russia only wants to control Russia. And if people want to cooperate and negotiate, that's a good thing. But if you're got this fear of what they call it uh, Cold War mentality. The Cold War mentality is why uh, relations can't get anywhere because they keep thinking, "Oh, we got to prepare ourselves in case they want to come and attack us." That's
Mm.
just a lot of waste of time, money, and lives.
Mm.
So, what do you think of your guy Trump so far?
Well,
I
it's a lot that he's doing. I mean, he means business, right? He wants to shrink the federal government because I work for the federal government. I work at a hospital, right?
Yep,
That's part of the government, and he wants people to come back to work, right? Post COVID times, right? He wants to what I think of him. He's efficient because he wants to find out where the actual money's going. What are we paying for?
yeah,
I mean, what are we doing? And a lot of this stuff that's going on, I'm looking at it. He's about his business. Um, but he's also writing a lot of rules, and a lot of people are going to mess around and lose their jobs with the federal government because of. I read a law yesterday: fraud, waste, and abuse. It's rampant in the federal government, so that's what the Department of Government Efficiency actually is looking for: fraud, waste, and abuse within certain uh, legs of the government, within certain entities, agencies, and things of that nature. He's, he's making sure that things are the way they're supposed to be. I believe with the next financial crash, which is probably going to happen this year, all right, I believe we're not going to get any stimulus, no stimulus checks, none, because we ain't got no money. you know, we can't write $7 trillion checks anymore. We could do that, but I promise you, if we do that, we'll be looking at a hole so deep that our if I was to have kids, right, my kids, kids,
Yep.
kids, kids, kids would be looking at that burden, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There'd be 20, 21, 35, 21, 85, and almost a year 22. If this country was still around, right? That's by hope and a prayer. But we're going the way of Rome, which is I see it, and I'm pretty sure you see it, right? And
Yep.
the way we're going, we're not going to exist in those years that I mentioned. I mean, astronomical debt. The people aren't going to be able to repay it. And what happens is your nation defaults. I don't even know what happens after that. Maybe you can enlighten that. But what I think of Trump, he's at least trying to right the ship. And a lot of people don't like it. They don't like it. But he's also going to not throw big, I would say a large duffel bag of money at a nation that we don't need to be supporting. That's like if you're at war with a nation, let's see, can't use it. Let's say Joe Blow, right? You didn't like him. He lives across the street. He's throwing trash in your yard, and I got to throw you a few bundles so you can go buy you some artillery. You can throw trash and whatnot in his yard. And you guys could have a tit for tat battle, right? But he's throwing, Biden was throwing bundles at Ukraine so that they can throw tit for tat with Russia, right?
Yep.
Trump wants to stop that because that's wasteful. That's waste and abuse. It's not fraud, but it's waste and abuse. But all the money doesn't necessarily make it to Ukraine. See, we sign a bill that says uh, 75 billion goes to Ukraine, but they only get 20 billion. Where's the rest of the money? What are we paying for? And so somebody read a story on what we were paying for. We were paying for things in England. What?
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were paying for
Yeah.
shit in England, man.
Yeah. We were. Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's when they shut down USID.
Yeah, USAID, yes. So
Yep.
so was that part of these packages that we were sending?
Yes.
Oh my god. Oh, the cat's out of the bag. So
Yeah. You look at. Go ahead.
all that food, all that, let me see, food, clothing, shoes, maybe shelter. All that was from for other countries.
Yes. And here's the thing. A lot of people thought that USAID was for uh, people, countries in need and stuff like that. But believe it or not, they were paying for all the propaganda news channels in Ukraine and Russia. They even uh, funded uh, overthrows and
That's why he
coups.
shut that shit down.
Yeah, they did all that stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
and the thing is, that guy that got released from prison in Russia yesterday, he could have been out of jail during Biden,
But
but
Biden wasn't doing it.
No, Biden didn't do it because he was too busy. His whole career was Ukraine. He got voted 2020, got in office 2021, and his whole thing was about helping Ukraine because
And so he engineered. Yeah,
his son was on the board of a gas company in Ukraine, making $80,000 a month,
damn.
and so
Now I
was
mean,
Nancy Pelosi's daughter and Mitt Romney's son. They were all down there making that money. They didn't even have to be there.
ain't that some shit? So was he president of Ukraine at one time?
Yes, he was.
Ain't that some bogus shit? That's why this happened.
Yeah,
Mm. Woo! The cat is so far out the bag, I can see its tail. Okay, so let me ask this other question. Um, so I think Trump is on his way to actually trying to stop this conflict some kind of way. He's not going to support Ukraine, but he's going to give Putin some steps to stop the conflict some kind of way, right?
yeah. Him and Putin had already talked on the phone, and the
Mm-hmm.
EU really didn't like that. Okay,
No, I
the
know that
new
it's right there.
yeah, the new defense secretary was in the EU,
Yeah.
and was it him or no? It was the vice president was in the EU talking to uh Vandelier, whatever
Mm-hmm.
was his name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she was emphasizing that they need to work together on Ukraine, and the vice president said, "Yeah, we'll be together on Ukraine." He said, "We'll be beside you. You just have to buy our weapons so you can give them to Ukraine."
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
He already said no boots on the ground, no boots in Ukraine, no American boots in Ukraine. See,
hmm
Lazinski, he's got this bright idea he came out with today. Or was it
hmm
yesterday? He needs 1,000,000 soldiers,
he needs 1 million soldiers.
a million soldiers, lots of weapons, and a lot more money.
Has he how many lines of cocaine has he been sniffing? This motherfucker's not gonna get 1 million or nothing, and we don't even have a mil. We got 1 million, more than 1 million soldier people in America, but that's not gonna happen. This motherfucker is, excuse me, this is supposed to be rated G. This guy is crazy. Obviously, been doing some LSD. I mean, he 1 million soldiers plus
Yeah,
extra artillery. We're not risking our lives for his war. But I guarantee, I bet you he's mad at Trump now.
yeah. He's trying to use the resources
Hmm
that he has control of in Ukraine. He's trying to use that as to get weapons and stuff. And the whole problem with that is the Russia controls over 80% of
hmm
what's in there. And he's trying to
So,
say, well, Russia's got most of it. You have to get Russia off of it. Basically
well,
saying you got to fight Russia.
so in a nutshell, basically what you're saying is, if we stopped helping Ukraine, we stopped giving them money, we stopped sending them arms, helicopters, cruise missiles, etc., 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 and we leave it to the European Union, and of course they're broke too. So if they can't send them anything, and we stop sending them stuff, this would basically what happen. They would fall. All right,
Yes.
we let them fall anyway because
Yep. Yeah. You know what I
uh,
wish I had? Oh, go ahead. Finish.
um, I think that if we stop supporting them financially and we stop adding their debt to our national budget or our national debt clock, which is probably $500 billion every 3 months, which is probably what we were doing. If we stop doing that, I think we would have, what the yearly budget, the annual budget would actually increase. That's probably Elon Musk's job too, to see where we could save money at. Stop supporting them, but if we're supporting Israel, we're probably giving them more money, aren't we?
Well, I don't know where to go there. That's a totally different deal that we're going to hit on. Anyway,
Okay.
uh, all I gotta say is this: Zelensky said that he only got $76 billion from the U.S. in total.
So where's the rest of the money?
Good question. Where did the money go? Where did the money go? It really, they didn't have any oversight on that money. You know, the whole problem is with COVID. Okay, when Trump was president and with COVID, uh, they didn't have any oversight on that money. Other words, seeing where it's going, where it's supposed to go.
Yeah,
Okay, and then
yeah,
with this money they were sending Ukraine, no, they didn't want nobody seeing where the money went.
right.
You know how the military industrial complex works.
Oh no, so that's why he activated Doge. That's why he created that, to see where the money went. And
Yeah,
there's kind of, oh, a lot of people going to be in trouble. I bet you, because of wasteful spending and things of that nature. If the money crossed the pond, but only touched one continent and not the rest of the continent, and by that I mean Ukraine, then that's where that money went, right?
yeah. Then don't forget the weapons. The weapons.
Not all that went.
Half of them, half the weapons didn't go to Ukraine. They went
Where'd you go?
everywhere else. They went the cartels.
Oh shit!
They ended up on the black market.
Oh no!
I'm
Oh,
telling you, yeah.
we're in trouble. Do you? Okay, so now here's another idea. Do you think that it's possible, since the weapons went to the cartels, we could be? I may have created a battle that he might end up, not him, but the next administration would have a problem with what might have happened with those weapons. Like, let's say those weapons travel to Mexico. Could those people that we are actively removing from this nation, their people could be coming back with those weapons?
Good, good, good question.
Oh my God, that's an idea. Because, like, well, how big a blunder is that? That's a fat blunder.
Yeah, because nobody's looking at anything. Okay, see, a
They're
lot of
not.
people don't get involved with politics is because they don't understand it and they don't want to be bothered with, oh, let them do what they do. But
Right.
they've been doing what they do, and then all of a sudden, when he gets in the office, like I was watching him sign all those deals and everything, and I was like, just watching because he didn't he did, I don't know if he did that the first time that he did. I don't know this time he did it. And first thing that caught my eye was he was passing uh he was signing an executive order that the men who are paying child support for their children are
Yeah.
also entitled to the child tax credit as well. The mother
Mm-hmm.
doesn't get it, the father gets it. And
Mm.
a lot of women are teed off about that. They
Oh
can't claim
well.
that they can't claim that tax credit. Heck, mom was like a get. She was sound like she's get ready to get a little mad. I said, "Mom, you have to look at it this way. A lot of fathers out there breaking their backs, making that money, paying the child support, and they ain't getting nothing in return." I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Now they're getting something in return. Instead of going to the mother, it's going to the dad."
Mm-hmm.
And then she understood. Now I like that, And then uh, there's only two sexes, male and female. Okay,
I
that he.
identify as a dinosaur.
Oh,
Yeah.
and he. also passed executive order that uh, trans women can't play in men's sports.
Yes, that's true. Then they
I
shouldn't.
was I was looking at this one thing, man, where this transgender was saying that, but I identify as a woman. I want to play in women's sports.
You trying to? Mm,
No,
nope.
no, no. Nope, I don't think so. And if you ask me about transgender, I think they should have their own bathroom. I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to let no transgender male in the bathroom with my daughter.
Nope. Absolutely not.
I mean, Biden let this stuff go. He let it go on and on and on.
And he didn't care.
Yeah. And then the thing about it is, you know, it was always there. It was
Hmm.
always there, but they decided to bring it out in the open in front of,
Hmm.
because it was already there, and
Hmm.
they wanted to be seen. So look what happened.
Right.
I mean, it's like, a parade and everything. Might as well have a parade for dog and cat people.
Exactly.
Yeah, but anyway,
Wow.
the EU uh, promised that they will buy their gas and oil from the US along with their weapons.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've been doing the same thing they've been doing forever. Like Putin said, he said all Trump has to say all the right things, and all those leaders in the EU start wagging their tails.
They will.
Start wagging their tails.
Yep.
Yeah, because the thing is, they all went in on the EU, the Britain and UK.
Yep.
All of them went in on
Right.
ganging up on Russia. Even when Biden's sitting there talking about, if one Russian boot or tank goes into Ukraine, that'll be the end of the Nord Stream 2. And he said
Hmm.
that in front of everybody, okay? And when
Hmm.
he said the end of Nord Stream 2, he looked at Olaf Scholz. That's the guy, the chancellor of Germany. Looked him dead in the eye when he said it.
Mm.
And then when the reporter said, "So how are you going to pull that off?" And he said, "We'll find a way." And 8 months later, it blows up. We didn't do it. Russia did it.
Oh, they know who did it. It was America.
Yeah. So I just want to see how this uh, it gets starts getting really interesting, especially the green T-shirt. Yeah, you're right, man. The drug thing. He's got visions of delusion.
Hmm. I
Visions
know.
of delusion.
I know.
Yeah.
He's 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 crazy. He's yeah, he's really
And the one
crazy.
Yeah, the one thing that Trump did mention about Russia was the fact that they lost a lot of people in World War II. Russia
Hmm.
lost over 27 million people in World
Wow.
War II. Yeah. And yet they keep fighting.
Hmm.
And I guess the EU said they was going to do what what what
The Germany
Hitler,
did.
yeah, what Hitler and Napoleon tried to do. We're going to do it. Except the only problem is they already whooped. I mean, Russia has weapons we ain't even seen yet.
Yeah.
Okay, they got stuff between them and and China. They got stuff we ain't seen yet. China shot a missile that went around the world.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Russia has a missile that that can defy uh, air defenses.
Oh,
They can't even lock in on it. And then
oh.
NATO, and then the U.S. and the U.S., NATO, and the Europeans, they gave Ukraine everything. Talked
Mm-hmm.
about their Storm Shadow missiles, the Patriot system, the javelins, and all that stuff, and yet
Yeah.
uh, all that stuff was burning on the battlefield.
Oh, wow.
You know, the only reason, as you know this, the only reason why they were so in on trying to give Russia a strategic defeat, they want to defeat Russia, kick Putin out, break up the land, and take the resources.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that's been their golden plan since 1997 when uh dang it, I can't remember that woman's name. She she said that back in 1997 they said they should take Siberia from Russia because it had all the resources on it. And she was the same woman that said it was okay to kill
Yep. How about
500,000.
Margaret? Was it Madeline Albright?
There you go. That's
Yep.
her saying it was okay to kill all those kids. And I'm like,
Mhm.
you know, you talk about life, but then you look at how so many people wants certain life to end because they can't deal with it.
Right.
Okay. Oh, here's one for you. Yeah. At one point, uh, Zelensky was talking about he wanted their nuclear weapons back that Russia
Mm.
took. But the thing is, those nuclear weapons wasn't Ukraine's to begin with. They were being stored there.
Mm.
Yeah, they were
That's
being
interesting.
yeah, they were being stored there. And when USSR broke up, Russia took them back.
Mm.
And he was saying they took our nuclear weapons. They should never gave up on it. He don't know. He has no ideal of history. This one black guy in Britain was talking about the 1,000 year history of Britain and Ukraine, saying that Ukraine princes, no princesses, were marrying Britain princes. No such
Mm.
thing, man. Put it this
Nope.
way: Ukraine didn't have an identity until 1921, and they didn't
Right.
have their sovereignty until 1991.
Right.
So where is this? They said it goes back hundreds of years. Where is this at? Now, the only one that can claim that is Russia.
Yeah.
Russia came into existence in 708.
Yep.
See, nobody talks about Russian history. You know, they talk about Russia like dirt on the ground. Russia has a rich history, and
Mhm.
one of their best histories is when they were fighting in all them wars and they didn't get beat.
Mhm.
So, to me, people just need to read their history books.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
don't.
no, they don't. They rather listen to what the news says.
Yep. That's true.
They much rather listen to that. So,
Right.
what you think all that snow? Was it the first one, the second one? This one just happened. Uh-oh. I lost you, man. I put you back in here. Boom.
I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah, you're back. Yeah, you got a little thing right here in the corner. Yeah, I can just push on that. I saw your black and white picture, so I just pushed on that and brought you back in.
Okay. Okay.
So anyway, uh so what is your spin on the economy and the
Our
tariffs?
economy. Oh, the tariffs and the economy. Right. Our economy is gonna crash like this remote right here. See this remote? Our economy is gonna go. Okay. And it's gonna start this. It's gonna start this summer, and it's gonna crash into 2026. It's gonna keep crashing until we start seeing numbers that look like 2008. Well, especially the Dow Jones. It was only like 12,000 points in 2008, and it crashed down to like 8,000 points or something like that. See,
Yeah,
that's a bad. Do you know how big a drop that is? It's like at 44,000 right now.
yeah,
That's a 80% drop. I see an 80%. They're saying recession, no depression. Get the D in there. Depression, not recession. But to see, the thing is, they don't want to lose money. So if you say recession, they just lose a little bit. They're gonna lose everything. There's gonna be people that commit financial suicide because they feel like, they're up here on top of everything, right? Put my hands out there, way up here on top of the pyramid. And if they wake up tomorrow and their assets are at zero, they're done for. And but they'll feel like psychologically they're gonna just go end it. Some of them, because they lost however much $1 million, right? I see something like 2000 and, well, excuse me, 1929, 1987 as a flash crash. I could see these years. Not 2008. 2008, that was a crash, but this is going to be the grandmother of crashes. Not the mother of crashes, but the grandmother. Because why? What over exuberance, right? And then everybody feels like everything can just keep going up. That's not healthy. Everything has to
yeah,
have a balance, right? And everything has to have balance. Otherwise, it fuels the crash. It fuels what happens down the street. So, what I see happening is something that other people don't want to see. I see foreclosures beginning to take off. I see layoffs increasing. I see the recipe that happened in 2022 that didn't seed. See, to 2022, we were supposed to have a recession. Well, we did, but it was a blip, right? It was a blip.
yep,
But this is going to be deeper than that. Like, you'll start seeing the signs, and then boop, like 2020, that was a 6 month long recession. And the only reason why that happened, it wasn't COVID. It was the slowdowns that started appearing in the month of March.
yeah,
Everybody said, "Oh, COVID caused it." COVID is a virus; it cannot cause the slowdowns because the workers can't come to work. The slowdowns because you can't receive your shipments. The snarl ups at
yeah,
the ports, things of that nature. That was a symptom of COVID, and that was a symptom that affected the technologies in the economy. It's not the virus. The virus. I mean, I was tired of the narrative that people kept spinning. It was pissing me off because people were saying, "Oh, COVID did this." No, COVID did not do that. And I'm tired of what this nation has become. I'm really tired. This nation has become a nation of fools. We have decided we will wait until some shit happens. So I'll give you this: if if a nation was angry and launched an EMP today, and all of a sudden my lights and your lights and everybody else's lights go out, and our devices no longer work, do you know how much mayhem is going to ensue for the next 175 hours?
hmm, yep.
Unimaginable.
People going,
They're going to
people gonna
flip
be.
the, yeah,
Go ahead.
unimaginable amounts. Because what it is, and this is my definition, and you can expand on it, is that people's perception of reality will be disturbed, if not even destroyed. Now you can expand upon it.
I explain. Yeah, I believe that. Because it'd be like the only cars. Number one, the only cars that are start up are the ones that do not have a brain.
Absolutely.
Those will start up. Two, uh, uh, in talking to cell phones. Oh, no good no more. Cell phones,
Exactly.
you won't be able to use cell phones. Had to
You
go
have to
back
use
to
a
the
phone.
credit card machine.
You have to use
But
a
anyway,
phone without a brain.
yeah. But the thing is, people going to be breaking into places, taking stuff.
Looting, yes.
You know,
There
I
are. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
There are countless things that we take for granted that run off of electricity. Running water, I did not know this, but that runs off electricity, man,
Yes, it does.
because it has to go through your piping system.
It
Once it
has to
goes
have
through your pipe, hmm?
a pump.
Yes, the
Electric.
pump. The
Yeah.
pump is operated by. It's somewhere in the ground. And it's operated by electricity somewhere, and the the credit card swipe that's operated by electricity. There's just so much stuff. There's like they named it all on TV, and I forgot two-thirds of it. But we take all these things for granted, and if nation got angry one day, and they just said, you know what, f those guys, and they just decided to knock out power to 90% of this nation. Oh my God, dark ages begin. Now there is a silver lining. Under Kansas City, there's Subtropolis, right?
Yep.
Now, I don't know if you can have access to Subtropolis, but if we were in Subtropolis, let's say I lived off, it would be where Ebony and Amanda, my sisters, used to live. That's near there is Subtropolis. Okay,
Oh, you talking about it down there when they lived in
you
Roanoke
took me,
Ridge
yeah, you
off
took
of
me over there.
31st Street. Yeah.
Right, correct. Um, if we were near that area and we just happened to venture into there, and let's say the EMP happened, right? You
Yep.
got to wait till the EMP goes past 3. Everything is off, but your cell phone still works. The only problem is that you'll just be able to play games on your cell phone. All the towers are knocked out.
Yeah.
All the towers out of commission. You can't text unless, let's say, a satellite is still working. Your text message could get to somebody in another city. It can't be in Kansas City. You have to know people. Like that's why I do my Christmas cards, so I can go wherever my card list is. If I live near that tunnel, and I could take my thing into the tunnel, I could text somebody in Philadelphia. I have to go outside the periphery of where I think the ring of power might be. I'd say the ring of darkness, actually, in this case, where they may still have light. So if they have light in New York, I don't know anybody in New York. But if they have light in Maine, I have nobody in Maine. But I might have somebody in Pennsylvania. I have somebody in Florida, California. Those states in the West Coast have like people, but I don't have too many people outside, like in that ring of light.
Yeah.
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 So,
Believe it. Go ahead.
oh, yeah, I would have to get somebody that has like a helicopter, or somebody could drive into the dark ring, pick me up, and then I can go to the West Coast.
Yeah. Oh, did you know there's some caves down on two I think it's 210 highway.
Yep,
210
Briarcliff.
highway. Yeah, by the casino Maristar. Cuz
That's actually, I think that's connected to Subtropolis.
yeah, cuz Duro he when he worked at Granger's, he went and worked in those caves doing stuff
Mm-hmm.
down there. And then there's some off of 24 highway and I-435.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's all connected. I don't know, but I think that's connected because they said it goes for like miles. I think I'm just saying. I think it goes for a while. So if we had that situation in America, a lot of people would know where those caves were, and mayhem would happen. And I'm not. If I got access to those caves, I would not leave. I would go underground. Now, there are cities in America that have what are called historic areas. The
Yeah.
catacombs in Indianapolis. There's a city on a city somewhere in Mississippi. or no, it's in Atlanta. So they had old Atlanta built on top of a new Atlanta, and that new Atlanta was built like in the 90s. The old Atlanta was constructed like in the 60s, and I
Yeah.
think it used to flood, so they had to build a street on top of a street. And like New Orleans has the same thing. They had an old city and a new city, and then like they have tunnels under the cities, right? Well, I back in the day, I saw this map, and it's a map of tunnels under Kansas City. So it's not just Subtropolis. No, there's the old suburban tunnels that went through Kansas City, and it shows me a map of how far these things go. They go for quite a distance. They go for quite a distance, and these tunnels were constructed probably pre pre integration time,
Mm.
right? Where you couldn't go north of 27th Street.
Yeah.
And there's these things that come up out the ground that look like they could be hatches to those tunnels. There's one off of Snide Bar and Blue Ridge. There's probably just a few around the city, but I don't know. I do have the map somewhere in my history in my phone, but the tunnels, I think the city used to have an underground system because I know the sewer systems they all connect. They have to because that's how the water goes through to the river, right?
Yeah.
And I think that all the sewers, all the systems that are underneath the city streets, they all connect from old cities. I mean, from the old tunnels to the new tunnel, which would have been developed after the 70s because like Kansas City stopped at one point. It stopped at like 95th, and then it kept on going. Now it like stops at like what's that down there? 150 almost. Or I could even say it continues on, but starts getting rolled down there. The further
Yeah.
south you go, there's nothing
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So like past Belton, that's 185th, 195th. There's nothing way out there. There's absolutely nothing down there. But there wouldn't be any tunnels down there. But the more in because this city is not really integrated, and our industrial system is not really, and we have the most primitive electrical grid because they the only reason why this nation is vulnerable is because we are the only nation that has the grid on top of the earth, which I mean is on top of the soil.
Yeah.
Uh, we have power lines that we could just sit here and look at. All
Yeah.
it takes, even a thunderstorm could do it. If you get a lightning bolt that's vivid enough, it hits a power line. Everybody on the block for about a 3 mile radius has no power.
Yeah. The lights go out. Ooh.
Right, right. So yeah, we have a primitive power grid. So if somebody was to do what I mentioned of EMP, they hit the power grid hard enough, you have no power for 6 months or more. You know, and if you don't
Mm-hmm.
have a crew, AI could probably bring your power back. Well, actually, no, it can't because AI would be operating off the electrical grid as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
so go ahead.
uh, the sun can actually knock out power.
You're
They
correct.
have
With
what
the
they call
CME,
yeah. They had I think back in 1889 they had what they call a Carrington event. It
I
was
know what that is. Yep.
yeah, and it burnt the telegraph wires.
The Carrington event was named after a guy named William Carrington. It's when the sun produced a solar X class solar flare.
Yeah.
It was severe enough to cause the solar storm was severe enough to cause widespread um, power issues. Now they don't have the advanced power like we have today. They
No.
didn't have that. They had the telegraph and a few other things, whatever. But if we had a Carrington event today,
It'd
oh,
be
it would be devastating.
catastrophic.
It would be, yeah, the power was out for quite a while, but if we had it today, the power would be out for at least a month or two. And that would be consequential even in today's terms. a Carrington event would cost lives, and it would cost a lot of money to fix. Uh,
Yep.
but you know, in terms of devastation, oh my gosh! I mean, it's hard to fathom because you're looking at the sun delivers light to the earth every 8.5 minutes, right? So if the sun was to blow up, the earth would just freeze over into an ice ball. And of course, we wouldn't live to tell about it unless we lived in a tunnel that's under the earth. But the if the sun delivered a nasty flare, which actually the sun was active last year delivering flares, but if the sun just had got into a fit and delivered a Carrington event or something worse, oh man, I don't know. Humanity, most of them act like grown babies. I'm not going to say kids, grown babies. And the level of entitlement mixed with a few mental illnesses, um, it would be disaster. You would have to bolt your door, and I wouldn't be able to call you unless we invest in something called a Faraday cage. I looked on Amazon, and so you remember the first snowstorm we got here in Kansas City?
Yeah.
The first snowstorm was back in January, before I turned 40. I
Yes. Yes,
I
it
went
was.
to I went to my sister's job somewhere. Actually, I went down there and I was looking for a power inverter. I was actually looking for a power converter, which is a mini generator. I thought they had one, but it was only for your car. So I said, "Damn it!" Guess what I found on Amazon for
What?
$399? It was a power converter. You can charge it, and or you could charge it using solar power. This is what every American needs right now, right? And I found a Faraday cage. So guess what I'm doing? When I get my apartment together, I mean it's
Yeah.
somewhat together. You see that? I might
Yeah.
invite you over, man. We'll play some cards or something.
Yeah.
Uh, And when I get my back patio together, I'll you could come
Yeah.
over. Um, but I'm gonna get a Faraday cage. All right. And at night, maybe during the day, I put my phone in the Faraday cage. Now, what will the Faraday cage do? Well, you should already know what a Faraday cage is designed to do.
Yeah. It could uh wave off EMP attack.
It will absorb the EMP.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so what would happen is if you get yourself a Faraday cage and you get a power converter, you charge the converter solar power, right?
Yep.
So it's called a power station. You can only put two things in there. I'm pretty sure you got lots of stuff plugged in there. So you got to put two of your most important things in there. You can buy a cooler or you can go loot one if something happens. But there's things in there that you can't just go and snatch up, right?
Yep.
So like your phone and other things. So you put your power converter inside the Faraday cage and you put your phone in there with it. You get your phone charger and put that in there with it. And whatever else you need, like your laptop, you put that in the Faraday cage. And if something happens, you still have access to the outside world. And speaking of that laptop, I lost my charger last time I moved, so I got to go buy a different one. So I haven't been using the laptop since I moved. It's under my bed, but it's still here. I still have it.
Mm. Yeah.
But
I wish I could remember the size of the plug on that thing. I don't know. I probably
oh,
have one around here somewhere.
okay. Well, yeah, I have to look at it. And the plug didn't always work. It was didn't always. I plugged it in, and you had some kind of contraption on there, like some electrical tape. That's probably
Yep.
why I tossed it in the garbage. I was like, I can't take this with me. It's a power. It might be a fire hazard. I didn't know. Luckily, I have insurance, but still. Um, but with a Faraday cage, your electronics are secure. But if we had access to a satellite that's up there, oh man, we would have literally access to a wealth of information, but not that we could communicate with a wealth of people if said things happen, right? So that's what I wanted to do if I get my place. Once I get it together, I would get myself a power inverter first, then a Faraday cage, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't throw the Faraday cage or the inverter away. I would keep the inverter charged. So even in severe thunderstorms, if the power is out more than 5 6 days, and I activate the inverter, I can't plug my refrigerator to it because
It'll pull too
it's
many. It'll pull too
yeah,
many. Like a pull too many amps.
amperage. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I can't
Amp.
even get to the port. I don't know where it's at. I know it's where that wall is, but I think there's mice under there. So I ain't doing that. Or the stove. That's too many amps. So the microwave, maybe, because that's not a lot of amps. The TV, yeah, but no. All right. So it's
Uh,
a catch.
if it's
Uh,
solid state, I'm quite sure
well,
you can do it. Yeah, if it's a solid state TV. As a matter of fact, I saw. I was watching Channel 9 once, and the weatherman was. He was in the Chiefs. Chiefs parking lot, and he was doing the weather from back there, and he had they're like a 50-inch TV back there
oh
doing the
wow,
weather from it. So he had to have
a
uh,
converter.
yeah, powerful enough inverter turning battery, turning
Yeah,
battery power in the house current.
yeah.
Yeah, I used to love it. I loved them things. I had them in my I had them in my Blazer when I
Oh
wanted to
wow.
take my laptop with me. I hardwired it into the Blazer. It was up under the. Oh, I think we start. I think it's up starting to.
I know what it's doing. It's probably messing up, isn't it?
Well, it's 57 minutes. We've been talking almost an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, dude, tell you what. I like to gather things. One more thing. What do you think about all the federal employees being there been a buyout, something like that?
Oh, this is going to cover another 20 minutes because I will tell you about that. The buyout. First of all, let's pause. But that I think they may have resumed. So with the buyout, when I'm not sure. If employees will be paid, but I realized like I'm in sanitation, so I'm in the EMS department at the hospital, so we're essential employees. If we were to click that button, we'd essentially resign. We're done. But they're not. You're not done until like higher up say, yeah, this person clicked the button. Yeah, they can go. They're done. But you don't get a severance package. With this buyout, I do believe that Trump was shrinking the size of the federal government um, through executive actions to save money for the federal government because there's like thousands of federal employees, right? Working in hospitals, office buildings, et cetera, right around the country. Not just IRS, but there's several branches, it's several different agencies that the government run, right? And so with this
Yeah,
buyout, what I feel about it is like it was incentivized for certain staff, and by that certain departments, certain legs of the federal government, not incentivized for essential employees like you know people that clean hospitals or people that um, transport. They're essential. People that do things that are essential.
yeah,
Okay, like IRS workers, they're essential. So they shouldn't be doing uh, they shouldn't be doing the button. They shouldn't be trying to buy out their job. And they were supposed to be getting paid until September the 30th, 2025. So they're supposed to be
Yeah.
getting the entire sum of their salary until September 30th, 2025. Now, the government, they'll take, their sweet time paying you, but you got to
Yeah.
pay them on time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'll use you for example. Let's say you got a job, maybe not in, building, but you're in contracting. So you got a contract to a company to build buildings on your building.
Yeah.
So if you're in contracting and you're going to sell a contract worth millions of dollars, and let's say they say, well, they write you an email, HR does, and they say, well, um, yeah, believe it or not, our HR for my job is based in Texas. They used to be based here in Kansas City. They're based in Texas. There's a problem there, but whatever, right? We're in business 15, and Texas is not where 15 is. That's business 13 or something. But it's neither here nor there. But I would write you an email and I would say, if you'd like to buy out your position, we would pay you until blah, blah, blah. And you have until this day. And it was in February, which is actually, it was yesterday, to buy out your position if you elect to. But we will not tell you when we would pay you. And now the government likes to drag its feet, and meanwhile, your bills are piling up, aren't they? Rent, right? Lights, gas, water, phone,
Yep.
groceries. The list goes on, right? All of the wants and needs are piling up. But you resign your position and you're waiting on this large check. And let's say it doesn't show up until after September. What happens?
Yeah. No, I don't bankrupt.
Hey, yeah. So there are 70,000 employees that work for the government, various agencies, various departments, various jobs that actually filed. They pushed that button for various reasons. And I was just told that some of them may not see that money until September. So, meanwhile, some of them might live in apartments, houses. Some of them might have to pay rent, mortgages. Some
Car
of them might have
notes.
car notes. So that's what I was getting to. Child support, child support, etc. Other obligations, bills. Are they going to have to file child? I mean, that's basically that's economy ruining right there. I'm not going to say that Trump ruined the economy, but I am going to say that um, if they get paid in April, that's still okay. All right, but if they get paid in like September and they've already left their jobs, if they didn't get another job before they left this one, oh my God! If all they saw were dollar signs and not the writing on the wall, ooh,
Oh man. Uh,
oh,
speaking of that, uh, one more thing. Okay, Trump was saying if all these countries that are importing into the U.S., they have to pay a 25% tariff. Now,
aluminum and steel.
in order not to pay the tariff, they should bring their businesses here.
Okay, he's trying to bring jobs home. Okay,
But the problem with that is one, the country in which the business is leaving, those people will be out of a job.
mm-hmm.
And number two, uh, what are the guarantees that they bring their jobs here and they're making money here? What percentage of that money is going to go back to that country?
Well, if they're bringing their jobs here and they're making their money here, it is likely that only 5% may go back. I would say 5%, maybe 20%, at the most 20%, at the least 5%. It because well, there's various ways that money can go back because now we got lots of pieces of technology. So you could have an employee that's from that country still working at the business, whether it be a bakery or something like a larger firm similar to Tesla. And let's say they're making good money, they're turning over a profit. And if a person is from that country, the only way, like, there's several ways, like I said, Zelle, PayPal, they could wire transfer it to their country, to their loved ones, wire transfer it to friends and family back home. That's one way it could go back. Um, but then let's say the founding members of that country, of that company, which is from that country, let's say they get bought out by people that are from this country, then that money may not even make it back to that country. I think it is that you know suffice.
Well, I guess we'll have to wait till the book comes out.
Right? Bookkeeping, right?
Yeah. But anyway, man, we hit on a lot of bullet points here.
We did.
I'm wait- I'm waiting to see what's going to happen next week.
Oh,
And
there's a lot, and we do got a couple of snowstorms. We got a slate.
yes, yeah, I did. I saw that this morning.
We got to slate the next podcast. What's today? Thursday. For
Yeah.
next Thursday.
Yep.
Yep. Got to set it for next Thursday, and we do it for 7:30 or 7:45 p.m. I was talking to Ebony. That's why I
That's
didn't
okay,
even get
man.
to.
That's okay. That's why I left it up there.
Yep.
I need something said I was watching cartoons. Ha 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 ha. Anyway. But anyway, dude, you be careful going to work. This is nice seeing you.
Good seeing
Always
you too.
always a pleasure to talk to you. So
Likewise.
if anything doesn't happen, if everything still goes according to whatever, I'll be talking to you next week. If not
All
sooner.
right.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So I would like to give my son a great big hand again. Yeah. And don't laugh at him.
All
All right, dude. I'll talk to you later.
right.
You
Have
take
a good
care.
night.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.